Hey, it's Josh here, and in this video, I'm going to give you a complete behind-the-scenes walkthrough of my 40K a month online coaching business. I don't take sales calls, I don't work any more than 4 hours a day, I don't have a team, and I don't face burnout. I'm not going to lie, it took me a long time to get to this point with my business, but it now allows me to have the life that I want to have, and it all comes down to everything that I'm going to walk you through inside of this video. At the end, I'll also give you a very casual invitation to come and work alongside me and my clients inside of the Freedom Accelerator. But please don't hear that and be like, oh my God, I need to shut this video off and I'm being sold to. That's not the case of this video. The point of this video is to give you some tips, insights, lessons, and strategies so you can continue growing and scaling your online coaching business. Now, my friend, I want to quickly dive into who this is actually not for. So I don't want you to watch this video if you're just getting started. You don't have a niche, you don't have an offer, you have no audience yet. You're kind of in that beginner stage. I love you, but this just isn't for you. This is also not for you if you're like the quote unquote bro scaler. You're chasing cold DMs and you love the grind of getting up at 2 a.m. and going to bed at midnight. You're all about the latest shiny funnel. If that's you, it's probably not for you. And finally, if you're chasing fame or a gazillion followers or you're wanting to like blow up online, then this is definitely not the video for you either. Who this is actually for though, this is for the coaches out there who are doing between 2 to 5K a month online. You might be a little bit above this or potentially just a smidge below this, but there's a very good chance that you've hit a glass ceiling with your revenue. You've tried things like cold DMs or punching out tons of content, but nothing really seems that predictable for you. You would like clean systems, time freedom, and clients who actually get results, and you're ready to build a business around your life and not the other way around. Now, I say that final point because if I go back in time, and if we haven't met yet, my name is Josh Bowers. I'm 30 years old. I'm from the Gold Coast in Australia. I've been coaching now for, I'd say, around 10 years, with the majority of that time spent in the online space. Now, the reason why I say that final point about you are ready to build a business around your life and not your life around a business is because if we go back a couple of years ago when I was trying to scale my first online coaching business, which was called the Bikini Body Project, and just as a side note, I did scale that to 100 clients, active clients. We scaled it to consistent 40K months, and I think I did about 500K in revenue in that business. And while the business itself was successful on the outside, I was unhappy and unfulfilled on the inside. I had everything on the front. It looked amazing. I had the money coming in. I had the clients, the systems. Clients were getting fantastic results. It looked amazing, but honestly, I was trapped and I felt handcuffed by my laptop 24/7. Fast forward 2 years of running that online coaching business, and funnily enough, excuse me, I actually had almost a quarter life crisis, I guess you could say, and I shut that business down overnight because it was just getting too heavy. After I shut that business down, I then decided to start a marketing agency because I was the guru for running paid ads, and to some degree I still am without pumping up my own tires. I launched the marketing agency, brought on clients, scaled that to also consistent 40K months. We did about $1 million in sales collectively for all of our clients in around a 6-month period. It was blowing up that business, but the exact same thing happened. I became trapped, I couldn't scale it, and it just didn't feel right by me. Something just inside just wasn't sitting there like it should have, and I was just feeling unfulfilled, and it just was not an enjoyable experience. So, funnily enough, I then closed that business down, which brings me to today, where I've been now running the Freedom Coach Formula. At the time of filming this video, I should say, for around 2 years, we've grown it to consistent 40K months. And when I say we, I should just say me because I don't have a team. The one thing that changed this entire thing for me though, was doubling down on systems and strategies. This is the biggest thing, was implementing systems in my business and really just chasing flow and alignment and passion. Those were the two core things, systems and then actually having passion in the business that allowed me to scale. So if we haven't met, that's my like TLDR on my backstory. It goes on and on and on and on. The story I've actually got, there's actually a lot more to it. And if we ever do decide to work together, you'll get to see my full backstory. But I've been in the game for quite some time. I've been through some highs and lows, and I've been through the shit with my business. And now I've gotten it to a point where I wake up, my calendar's basically empty. I don't have to jump onto sales calls. And I can do essentially whatever the hell I want, which is a very nice feeling. So what we need to actually run through is like the actual point in time where I had like the breakthrough moment, right? This is actually me sitting in my living room at the time with some roommates. I was working like 10 to 12 hour days, probably 7 days a week at that point. They were very reactive days. I was trying cold DMs and I was punching out tons of sales calls. The worst part about it though is despite doing these massive days, I was also just like stuck at this plateau, right? My income was sitting around like 6K a month, and it just wouldn't budge. And like, no matter how much more I worked, it just wouldn't go. And it was so frustrating. But the thing for me, like what I didn't realize at that time is I had no systems and essentially no freedom. I thought I had freedom because I was working online, but I was literally trapped in this freaking lounge room every day for the majority of the day. It sucked. And I was just buried in chaos and calls. It just was not a fun time. Fast forward to today, I had that little mini breakdown, shut the business down in this period here. So let's just fast forward that time. We'll chat about that later. But fast forward to today, I'm at the time of filming this living in Bali. I've got no more than 4 hours of work on the actual calendar per day. I've got a very simple inbound model now where people come to me. I'm averaging around 40K a month with around 90K profit margins at the moment. It's really profitable. I'm not a gazillionaire. I'm not driving around in Lambos, but at the same time, I don't really give a fuck about that. I do not care. I want to make good money, but I also want to have freedom at the same time. My business now, it's clean and it's leveraged and it runs daily. We just had the Easter long weekend. That was maybe yesterday, something like that. Lost track of the days, but we just had the Easter long weekend, and over that time frame, I still brought in leads, I still brought in sales, and my business still ran despite me basically taking my foot off the accelerator completely. The other cool thing about where I'm at now is I have structure, calmness, and space to actually live. Here's me at a waterfall somewhere up in the mountains in Bali. It was a really cool time, and I wouldn't be able to do and experience things like this without having the business model that I now have today. So yeah, that's my backstory, right? Now, what I do want to dig into is why I was actually stuck for so long, right? Because there's kind of like 3 stages that I find all coaches go through, and I went through these stages as well. The first stage that you'll actually find yourself in, and this is where I was stuck for a very long time, is like what you call the hustler coach. You think that you're crushing it, right? You're punching out the big days and you're doing all of the work and you're posting daily and you bring anyone into your program. Cash flow is limited. It's busy, but it's not actually growing. And that's the problem, is you feel like it's moving because you're very busy, but in reality, you're stuck at like 6K a month, 5K a month, 2K a month. It's just the revenue just doesn't grow despite the hustle staying there, right? It's like you're on a hamster wheel. The next stage that you might move into is then what I like to call the hybrid coach. Here, you're making around 8 to 15K a month. So you're actually starting to make not bad money, but the issue is it's not all online money. You're probably still in person, or you're like a little bit online, or you might have a job on the side, but you're bringing in the money, right? But you kind of got like your foot in 2 different camps. The system itself is all over the place, right? Or there's probably not even a system in place at all. The offer is going to be rocky. Some of your content works, some of it doesn't. Your lead flow is very patchy, and it still just feels like you're stuck on the hamster wheel that you were back here in the hustler coach. The only cool thing about this time, when you're hybrid, is that you're making a bit more money. And it like strokes the ego a little bit. You're like, yeah, but like I'm grinding, man. I'm putting in 12-hour days. I'm making like 10K a month. I'm crushing it. But then you soon realize, like, hold on, I've been in my home office now for 12 hours a day for like the last 6 days. I haven't been able to train properly. My girlfriend hates me, or my boyfriend hates me. I might not even have a partner. And I actually feel suffocated. I got into the online space to have freedom, but I don't have it. What the heck? Like, you start to catch on, right? And if you had that moment, you realize that it's like, oh shit, I'm actually still kind of stuck, right? And that's where you find yourself as the hybrid coach. And what I do find is that a lot of people also bounce back and forth between these 2 areas. Pardon my disgusting writing, but anyways, they bounce between the hustler and the hybrid, and they flip-flop between these 2, and they don't scale. And it's a very frustrating time, and this is where I was stuck for a very long time. And it's like you get pissed off. You're just like, come on, man, let's go, let's grow. Once you finally move out of this area, the hybrid coach, you move into the freedom coach. So you have 1 to 2 focused offers, generally just 1. You have a very lean system. You have clarity on who it's actually for. You're running a simple engine, which is usually Instagram, some sort of VSL, some sort of invitation, and an easy conversation. Simple as that. Ideally, no more than 4-hour workdays, high profit, no chaos, and clients that actually get results. And this is where I'm sitting right now, and I can tell you from being on the other side of the fence, it is a very relieving feeling being in the freedom coach zone. I was stuck in the hybrid and the hustler coach for a very long time, and honestly, some days I'd want to punch a hole through my computer because I'd be like putting in so much work but making literally no money. And the one core thing that was the issue here, I mean, there were many core things, but the main thing was the fact that I just had no systems. nothing was focused, nothing was thought through. It was just pure grit and grind and hustle, but that only gets you so far. So what I want to walk you through now is the revelation that I had in my business. I've been talking a lot about systems right now and how I scaled and things like that. When you're scaling your business and you're kind of getting started, you just throw as much shit at the wall as you can to try and get things going. And I get that because I did that for a very long time. But you do get to a point where you need to start thinking a little bit more strategically and apply a little bit more thought into what you're doing. And you probably have heard the quote, what got you to this level generally won't get you to the next level. And that's that glass ceiling that you keep hitting. And this was the same thing for me. I kept scaling up, smack the ceiling, fall back down, scale up, smack the ceiling, fall back down. And I couldn't figure out what the problem was. And what I realized is it wasn't a matter of doing more. It wasn't a matter of adding more. In fact, it was actually simplification and systemization. So what I ended up coming up with is 4 core pathways that allowed me to grow my business to consistent 40K months. And I call it the Freedom Coach Pathway. So if you look at this like fancy little diamond on the screen here, we have sort of 4 areas that I like to focus on in my business and also my clients' business as well. We have foundations, and I'm going to walk you through this. We have the growth engine, we have the client machine, and then we have scale and automate. If you can dial in these 4 core areas of your business, I can guarantee you that in 6 to 12 months from now, you're going to have a very profitable online coaching business. This system that I use can easily be scaled to 100, 150K a month if you dial it in. And you could sit back and be like, well, Josh, why aren't you there right now? I don't want to be. Like, I want to make money, don't get me wrong, but the season of life that I'm in right now is a season of having fun. I worked my ass off for so long in that hustler hybrid coach mode that, yeah, I did get burnt out. That's why I had that meltdown and shut that business down. Now I've gotten the business to a point where I'm like, man, I can actually breathe and I can actually live my life and enjoy my life. And it's so nice. And that's exactly why I'm just absorbing that before I move into the next season of pushing, where I might actually start to scale things that little bit more. So let's actually dig into the 4 different quadrants of the Freedom Coach Pathway. So let's start off with foundations. This is really important to start if you have lack of clarity on where you're at with the business. And the cool thing about this structure is that you can implement different sections of this at different times. You don't have to follow this like super rigid step-by-step pathway or roadmap. It's quite modular in that sense. So with foundations, what we're looking at fixing here is that you probably don't have a clear niche, message, or offer. And this is where I was stuck for a long time, is I was just asking who wanted online coaching to burn fat and build muscle. How many times have you heard that? There's a very good chance that you're also just posting aimlessly and potentially even attracting the wrong people. So this is what we're trying to fix here with the foundations. The other thing that we're also trying to fix here as well is you. We need to get clear on you and where you want to go. A lot of people don't have the business that they want because they haven't become the person who can run it yet. So when we go through foundations, we also go through some deep inner work where we get clear on where this ship is even going. We look at focusing on setting some goals. We create this ideal character and get you clear on the person that you need to become so you can actually move this business forward and scale it. So our focus here is to nail your niche, messaging, and a high ticket offer. We want to build your identity, content, and personal brand. And then the outcome when we apply this is clarity on who you help and how, a brand and offer that actually attracts the right people. Trust me, when you get to this point, it's really good. And then confidence in what you actually sell. Here's the thing. When this is just a mess, the confidence is probably the biggest one here. If you're not confident in what you're doing, you're not going to get in your stories and promote. You're going to create half-assed content, and it's just not going to flow. So we've got to fix this stuff, and that's where we start with the foundations. Once the foundations is locked in, we can move into the growth engine. So here, we want to fix the lack of systems, the lack of lead flow, and the lack of audience growth. We want to stop relying just on hope and crossing our fingers and toes that people are going to come through. We want to stop the hustle and we want to stop the cold DMs. So the focus here is to start with some very easy $15 a day Instagram profile visit ads. This is the core system that we use to generate leads. We start at $15 a day and then we scale it up to whatever you can handle in terms of lead flow. Then we focus on creating a content rhythm that actually nurtures. So we create what's called core identity content, and we create this content ecosystem that basically nurtures people. It's almost like a spider web. We just want to get people stuck in our web, and at some point they will eventually buy. And that's what will happen when we have the good content in place. We also focus on building a passive lead engine. There's nothing more annoying than having to grind things out every single day. Once you launch these profile visit ads, you'll have leads coming inbound to you. And then the content that you'll be running, and this is the type of content that I post, is content that will nurture your audience. So at some point they'll go like this: hey, I need your help. And that's how we start to get passive sales and people coming inbound to us. The outcome when we get this installed is 10 to 45 leads a day without doing cold outreach. I cannot stand getting message requests from people being like, "Hi Josh, would you be opposed to adding 10 new clients to your business?" It's like, no bro, I don't want your help. Get out of my DMs. It's sleazy, it's gross, and I don't like it. And I'm sure you feel exactly the same. So no cold outreach with this process here. For me, the outcome as well is looking at daily growth, so automated and low effort. I send an email a day, I post some content, I have my ads running in the background. It's a very effortless system. And the cool thing about it is it allows you to gain visibility without burnout. So you'll stay front of mind without needing to be glued to your phone 24/7. We then move into the client machine. So here's where we're looking at fixing inconsistent conversions, and we want to stop your sales feeling hard or draining. So the focus here is building out what we call a mini VSL and an offer doc. This video that you're watching right now is essentially a mini VSL. It's a behind the scenes walkthrough of how I run the business, which is a mini VSL. It warms people up, it nurtures them, it gets them to see if they know, like, and trust you, and it's very powerful. We can then use either a combination of calls and DMs to sell, or one or the other, depending upon where you're at with your traffic and your lead quality. But the focus here is to make sales effortless. And then we let the content do the heavy lifting on the front end. So the VSL will be in circulation. You'll have all of your Instagram stories, all of your content, all of your emails going out. And this just really nurtures people in that like spider's web or content ecosystem, if that's what you would like to call it. The outcome here is sales convos feel natural and aligned. Clients show up curious and or ready to buy, which is fantastic. And the conversions become predictable. Once this is dialed in, it's so like just reducing of stress. And I don't even think that's the right English, but you get what I'm saying. It just makes life so much smoother. Now we need to look at scale and automate. So you see here, I've actually got a spelling mistake. Let me fix this on the fly, show you that I'm actually a real human. Spastic right here. Scale and automate, right? The fix here, we need to stop manually onboarding clients and having a messy back end. You might have content going out and ads happening and all of that. Like you might have, and this is the fantastic thing about the way that this process works, is you can apply different sections at different times. But with scale and automate, this is where we look at systemizing things, right? We want to basically get rid of manual onboarding, any messy backends. We want to apply systems. So here, we want to automate our onboarding, delivery, and communication, systemize the client experience as much as we can, and scale your offer without extra hours. The goal here is no more than 4 hours a day. Business runs at 80% without you. Time freedom plus client results. It's as simple as that. Like scale and automation is the part that most people are missing when it comes to scaling. But to be honest, if you are stuck between 5 to sort of 10K a month and you can't scale, these will be the core 4 areas that are missing from your business. And trust me, I know that because this was me. And it wasn't until I applied this that things actually started to get to the next level. So let's walk through the actual sales funnel that I use. Now, I've simplified the crap out of this to make it very easy for you to digest. There are a lot more moving parts to this, but in simple terms, this is how my sales funnel actually works. So we start with top of funnel, and this is where we look at generating awareness. So the goal here is just to get eyeballs on our world, right? We want to start generating traffic. So we have Instagram profile visit ads that we're paying for that's bringing targeted traffic to our Instagram profile. And then you have your organic content going out. This is the structure that I'm using at the moment. Very powerful, very effective for bringing people into our world. This is so you don't have to rely on just organic content. The ads just speed things up, but the content creates the trust, which brings people in and makes them actually want to follow and buy. Middle of funnel is where we're looking at connection. So this here is where we build trust and curiosity with our audience. To do so, you're looking at posting stories, running retargeting ads. So that's just basically running marketing back to people who are already a part of your world. We have our mini VSL and then an email list. This right here is the incubator for getting the results. A lot of people think that, oh, if I just run cold ads, I'll get a lot of clients. And that used to be me and that used to work, but not so much anymore. Well, I'll take that back. It still works, but it's very expensive and very volatile. But if you combine content and ads, it speeds things up and it creates trust. Once we get them into the incubator, it's just like it just speeds up the cooking time before they then enter bottom of funnel, which is conversion. So here is qualify and start the buying conversation. So this is really simple. We want to have a conversation, whether it's to drive them to a call or to sell them by chat, depends on where you're at in your business. And then we have our core flagship offer. Once you scale this to about 50, 60, 70 clients, depending on what you can handle, we then introduce a secondary offer, but we like to keep things very simple in the beginning and generally just have one offer. So traffic then gets pushed down into a conversation. They then buy. Then we deliver to them. Simple as that. Onboard and deliver, community plus case studies, compounding results. Now, if you follow this little line here, we'll follow this down. Let's say we've got compounding results. This is how it compounds. It feeds back into organic content. So when you zoom out on this little system here, let's make this bad boy full screen. It just flows and it just makes sense. You'll have eyeballs and traffic coming through. We nurture that traffic with content. It might take someone a day to buy. It might take someone 6 months to buy. It might take them a year to buy. It doesn't matter. We are nurturing that person. So when they do then enter the bottom of funnel, the sales process is effortless. When I was running the Bikini Body Project, which was my online fitness coaching business, I would probably close at around 50 to 60% on average cold marketing ads. The return on ad spend was very low. The cost per acquisition was very high. The system that I now run with my business and my clients, I don't take sales calls anymore, as you would know, but my clients who are still taking sales calls are closing at anywhere from 75 to 95% in their business. And it's such a higher close rate, and I put it down to the fact that the content creates trust, which increases conversions, and that's why it's so important to have all of these pieces in place. But if you're a kick-ass coach, which you would be if you're watching this, and you get great results, then those results from those new clients coming through feed straight back into the machine, and it's just this like flywheel effect, and it just fuels it. So fantastic for making money, and it just makes sense. Now, my friend, you might be sitting back and be like, all right, that's all good and well for you to, say all this stuff. Well, I've got to hit you with some social proof, all right? This is my calendar, May 2025. It's April 22. So this is actually me fast forwarding a few weeks because I want to give you a clean week on what this actually looks like. But this is the ongoing amount of work that's scheduled into my calendar. It's not much, right? It's barely anything. If you were to look at my calendar like 3-4 years ago, it gives me anxiety even thinking about it. But this is my scheduled work. There will be things that slot in here, don't get me wrong, but this is all that's on my calendar on an ongoing basis. It's so freeing, and it really allows me to live the life that I want. I can now pour into my own creative hobbies. I can do the things that I want. I don't have to rush my training sessions or rush through meetings to get the next thing done and bounce back and forth, and the stress and chaos is now gone. If we zoom in on this, you'll see here gross volume 132K. This is from the 1st of January this year, so around 40K months on average. This is me chilling in a little recovery center, and this is where I do spend a lot of my time nowadays. And the thing that brings it all together is the sell by chat process that I use, so I don't use sales calls. This is an invitation letter. If you do want an invite, and this is standing out to you, just send me the word deets and I'll flick it across. But that's not only my results, but I want to show you some of my clients too, right? I've got to pump up some of my clients as well. Like, I'm using this system, and it's fucking printing cash right now, and I love it, but it's also working for my man, Michael. Michael did $29,600 in his first 2 days of launching. I've got his Instagram handle there, so you can go hunt him down and stalk him, message him here if you want. He's now fully online, living overseas. He was actually living with me in Bali. We shared a villa together, and it was epic. My man, Luke, he transitioned from about $1,500 a week as an in-person coach to now bringing in anywhere from 15 to 20K a month online. I'm pretty sure that he did $26,000 in March. Really cool results. He's at 60 plus clients. He plays golf every Friday at like 2 p.m. and he travels around Australia with his wife in his van. Really cool life. And it's fantastic to see like Luke actually go from, it reminds me of my story, in-person stressed out to now working online, printing money. Big dog Jackson Mansoudi, he scaled with $15 a day ads all the way up to, I think he's doing around $9.5 to $10,000 a month, somewhere around that mark. He's floating around that now, but at the time of this, he's probably scaled beyond that because he's scaling very fast. His business is growing like a weed. This guy's grabbing this business like a bull by the horns and just hitting go. But he's doing a fantastic job of growing, and I'm really proud of this dude. We then have Josh here, who's a hybrid coach. He's helping guys with the running and strength training side of things. If you would know about it, that world's just booming right now, the hybrid world. But he went from feeling overworked and stressed out to still bringing in a clean 10.6K month. I told this guy a couple of weeks ago, I said, hey, dude, you're sounding stressed. You're sounding like you're a bit overworked. Just pull right back to the bare minimums. And he messaged me saying, dude, it's hard to pull back. This is a bit weird. But then still brought in a fantastic month. And this wouldn't be possible without having systems in place. So congrats to you, Josh. Well done, man. Now, to consolidate this video, this is how I built a 40K month business with just 4-hour workdays. If you're watching this and sitting back and going, this looks pretty good, this looks like something I'd be interested in, then all I want you to do is just send me the word deets on Instagram. The actual word is missing here, but you get what I'm saying. Send me the word deets on Instagram, and yes, you will be hit with an automation where I'm going to hit you with some questions. This is the whole point of me having a leverage business, is I lean on systems. So if you message me deets on Instagram, or just tap the button that's below this video, or the link, whatever you would like to call it, it's going to take you to Instagram. You're going to end up in a DM with me. There's a few automated questions so I can get a pulse check on where your business is at. But check that out, and I'll give you the invitation on Freedom Accelerator, where our goal is to help you scale to consistent 20K months. 10 to 20K months would be very spicy, especially if you're stuck around that 3 to 5K month mark. Now, with this process here, when you reach out to me, there is no pitch, there's no pressure, there's no like, oh yeah, let's jump on a quick discovery call. None of that. This is just a system that will fit into your life, that will allow you to make a lot of money and have a lot of free time. So there's no pressure to do that, but if you want to jump on it, please do so. If not, I hope you got a lot of value from this video, and I look forward to seeing you in my world at some point. Thanks for watching.